Hello, my name is Mark Galvan, and I'm a recruiting manager, and it's my privilege to give you an audio-video overview of additional information associated with the accounting and finance manager position at Logisticorp. Now, why we're doing this way is different because what we found is it's better for candidates to have a lot of information up front about the opportunity so that if it's right for you and your career direction, you can be all in, or you can decide up front that you're not going to waste your time. What we want to do is we want to give you a lot of information that sets you up to be able to interact with us and interview and go through the process eyes wide open, knowledgeable about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the opportunity ahead. And also, this is time sensitive. So you can listen to this at your convenience anytime. You can listen to it multiple times. You can take notes. And that's not the kind of thing that you would normally have if you were thrust into an interview on the spot. What we also find is that candidates, when they are being screened, they're literally on the spot and being penalized if they don't have good answers. This gives you an opportunity to think about your responses and how you want to present yourself so that you have the best foot forward. So, first of all, who's this for? Only for pre-approved, pre-qualified candidates for the accounting and finance manager position at Logisticorp. We have one position that's open. It's full-time, W-2, salaried, exempt. It's got supervisory responsibilities. It is more or less an 8 to 5 type of schedule. However, there's some flexibility to that. Plus, I also should tell you up front that there's a partial virtual scenario. What happened during COVID was the lease agreement for all of the administrative offices was perfectly timed to expire, and the business made a decision to downsize its physical footprint. So now we've got team members that are part virtual and part in office. So for this role, you can expect to probably be able to work remotely from home 3 days a week, something like that, and maybe you have to come into the office once or twice a week. So there is that. Well, let me just first of all say congratulations, because where you're at in the process now is you have already responded to perhaps an email we sent you, or you saw a posting online and you completed some pre-qualification questions. You provided access to your resume. We've got that information. We've already reviewed everything. And now you have been invited to take next steps. So you're like halfway through the process and you don't probably even realize it yet. So again, congratulations. We're only interested in folks that have got the right skills, background, and capabilities that we need for the role. But now it's our chance to tell you a little bit about who we are to make sure that we're the right organizations for you. So at this point, what we want to do is once you're finished reviewing this information, there's a couple downloadable links in the email that we've sent you. One is a download of the complete position profile, and I'll make reference to that, but you definitely want to take a look at that to look at more detail about the position. Also, there's a separate download for the total rewards and benefits. Now, the version that you've got a link to, I believe, is still 2001 until we update it to 2022. Virtually everything is the same. We're in the process of updating the benefits and total rewards overview now. However, it's all still good. Everything's the same. Now, once we get through the initial phase of the process, there's background check, drug testing, and other things that are required, but we are looking to move aggressively as possible through this process. So the moment we find the right person, it's full steam ahead. So let me just throw this out. If you're in transition, you're looking for a job, and that's okay. Some people may be looking for more money or a better opportunity, or maybe a more stable company. How about a company that's not negatively impacted by COVID? I mean, there's a lot of real practical reasons for being in transition. I get it. However, there's a higher level opportunity here than just getting a job, because we're talking about an organization that has longevity. It's super well recognized in the regional marketplace. There's a strong positive reputation. All of the client and customer accounts are large corporate global brands. And when you have these kinds of globally recognized brand names on your resume, it adds tremendous value to who you are. So more on this in a little bit, but I think the real value here is that there's a growth opportunity for someone to work in a stretch role or maybe develop into a higher level role with a very large, well-established company. So there's a much bigger opportunity here. So let me explain why I know the information I know. My name's Mark Galvan. Again, I'm a recruiting manager, and one of my roles is to help present opportunities to candidates and let our recruiting team help do the work. But in this case, we really want a win-win situation, and that is someone like yourself is going to win because you're the right candidate for the job. The company wins because we get somebody who's perfectly suited for the work and they have the right cultural fit and all that. But then you have stakeholders at home. You know, it may be a spouse, it may be a family, it may be, partners of some sort. And, these folks need you and want you to be successful. And so we want them to win. We want them to feel like, wow, congratulations, awesome job getting that opportunity. But then we have customers as well, where you're going to be interfacing with our vendors, our customers, our employees, and those folks need to feel like they win because we hired you. So it's a tall order, but that's our goal, and it's the reason why we put so much time and investment up front to help someone like yourself have all the information they need. Now, there's no artificial intelligence here. There's no, bots behind the scenes doing all this. These are all real people. We've got a different model. Part of this is because of who we are. So let me introduce the companies to you real quick. I work with an organization called Proforce. We are a third-party recruiting and talent acquisition and strategy company. So even though we're third party, we're embedded into the Logisticorp operation, and we handle all the recruiting and talent acquisition work. And we use ridiculously unique and highly competitive and very effective recruiting strategies. So, I'll get to that more later, but if you know of an organization that needs help recruiting, especially at a time like this, we might be able to provide some amazing support. But now the hiring company for this job is Logisticorp. This is not a staffing opportunity. You're not joining a staffing company. This is a direct hire W-2 full-time position with Logisticorp, okay? Just want to be clear about that up front. So let me tell you a little bit more about Logisticorp, because they, again, are a very established organization, 20 years old in the transportation and supply chain business, and all of their clients are very large, globally recognized telecom, public utility, semiconductor companies, and as a result, these are logos that will be on your resume forever if you have the opportunity to have this role. The company itself is multi-state and also has growth opportunities that are significant right now because of all of the issues related to supply chain and warehousing operations. We're not shrinking, we're growing. Another thing I want to tell you up front is that the organization has a pretty mature corporate culture, and one of the ways that's indicated is by the company's core values. So a commitment to creating value for our customers is a core value. Another one is a commitment to continuous improvement. Another one is accountability. That's to each other and to our customers. Another core value is integrity. I mean, that's just trust and transparency and honesty and reliability, our commitment to those characteristics. Another core value is quality and execution with the best possible, best-in-class standards and solutions we can create. And then finally, diversity. That's actually a core value. We appreciate different thinking, different points of view, different perspectives, and diversity makes us who we are. And we are a diverse company in that it's a minority-owned business that has gotten very, very large over years of commitment and has large contracts as a result today. So let me give you more information about the job and a little bit of background. So the position itself does report to the president and COO. There's a couple dotted lines there because you're going to get input and direction from a couple different folks. The accounting and finance manager position involves job duties that are administrative, accounting and finance, but also providing internal support to the executive team and other employees. Now, some of that includes, what you would expect, accounts receivable, accounts payable, petty cash, quarterly reporting, and other things. But also it involves coming up with cost models and pricing models. This is a real important function because as we are responding to requests for proposals or requests for quotation, someone needs to be the orchestra leader in pulling together all of the financial details to create something like a working cost model for pricing and proposals. So if you've done that type of work before, you definitely want to make sure that that bullet is included on your resume and that you answer that question in the next step of the questionnaire. So there is a supervisory element to the role. There's some folks that provide accounting support as well. It's not a large team just because most of the administrative work done by the business today is automated, fortunately. So that's good news. You can focus on higher level contributions. Another thing that's important is this is not just a behind the screen position. There's a lot of accounting and finance types of roles where aside from maybe a weekly meeting or a monthly status report or an executive meeting, there's just not a lot of external interaction. That's not the case in this position. We need somebody that is client facing. We need somebody who is executive facing. Somebody has great communication skills and strong executive presence because they're going to be taking on some of those strategic opportunities. You might find that some of it looks like controller type of work. Some of it might look like CFO types of work, but that's where these stretch opportunities are for someone that wants to come in as the highest point of contact right now in the business, in the finance and accounting space, and take on some really great opportunities. Now, the pay rate is competitive. It's commensurate with experience. We're not publishing that yet. We have that internally. We'll have that conversation with you to make sure that it's a match long before we get into, second and third interview. We'll know up front if this is a good fit, both ways. But I would tell you that the benefit package is also very robust and it's worth consideration. As you'll see from the total rewards overview, it's everything you would expect: health and dental, vision. There's a matching program on the 401k, disability and other stuff. But again, from a recruiting, talent, and career perspective, I would say that the biggest value in this opportunity is what it does to your resume. When you've put in 2, 3, 4 years or more here in a situation like this, and you've gotten bullets, accomplishments, and achievements on your resume that you wouldn't get someplace else, you're significantly more valuable in the marketplace. And it's not uncommon for people to get 20, 30% pay raises coming out of a role like this because of the experience they get. That is way more valuable than, extra $5,000 a year on a competitive job offer where you're counting beans and doing the same thing every day all the time. So definitely something to consider if you are growth oriented professionally. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to cover real quick some of the requirements and then next steps. So you'll see from the downloadable documents that we're really looking for somebody with 3 to 5 years or more of accounting experience. If you're coming in with 12 years, 15 years of experience, you're not going to be considered overqualified. If your career path, your job opportunities in the past align with what we're looking for, then you're golden. We would like to see an associate's degree in accounting or better. A bachelor's is great. We also need to see proficiency in QuickBooks. So because we're a QuickBooks shop, we need you to have proficiency. Certification would be fantastic, but we need you to have proficiency with the accounting and bookkeeping functions, including reporting and the custom reporting as well. If you've had any type of customer facing or executive facing or presentation experience in the past, that's a bonus. And of course, as I mentioned before, if you've got prior experience developing cost models or pricing models, that's valuable. Now, consider that cost modeling and pricing structures are an input to a proposal. We're not looking for somebody that has managed the proposal process or written a proposal. We're looking for folks that have had experience with understanding all the elements to an appropriate cost model so that we have a full view of the financial inputs to pricing. So from here, the next step is, if all of this is interesting to you and you are enthusiastic about taking next steps, we want to invite you to complete a questionnaire. The questionnaire is going to ask you for years of experience, additional details about various things. Some of them are knockout questions, to be transparent, but most of it is more around the specifics that we're looking for and to what degree of experience do you have in those areas. We've pretty much already knocked out all of the candidates that have applied that are not minimally eligible for this job, okay? So you wouldn't be getting this information if we didn't already like what you're bringing to the table. So we know that there's no such thing as a perfect candidate. If you're looking at all the questions and you're thinking, yeah, I only have 3 years of experience doing this, but I've got 10 years of experience or 8 years of experience with everything else, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, because again, we just need to see, what your background and profile looks like relative to the requirements. So take your time on the questionnaire. There's some open-ended questions, and I'll tell you that questionnaire and your responses is probably more important than your resume, because your resume was just created for mass publication and distribution. But the questions that we're asking on the questionnaire are deeply aligned to the requirements of the role. So whatever you put in there is going to be of particular value to us because of the information we're looking for. And then from that point, we have a pretty immediate evaluation process, but we are going to take a couple weeks to evaluate candidates. And then from that point, probably a phone call or a Zoom discussion, and then an in-person conversation with staff in the Irving office. So it may not go in that order, but it'd be definitely some version of that. Now, if you're not selected for this opportunity, we want you to know that we definitely believe every single person is a VIP. They just have to find the right seat on the right bus. And if it's not here, it's somewhere else. And our commitment as a recruiting and talent management company is we're going to give you access to some resources. If you're not selected for this job, we're going to give you some complimentary access to some information that will help you with your resume, tightening that up, making it more stronger in terms of presenting your background and your value. We'll also give you some resources that'll help you with interviewing. And that's just our way of thanking you for jumping into this process and taking your time to be considered. So that's it from me. I hope I didn't go too long, but I definitely wanted to get all this information to you because of where you're at now in this process. And we're going to be watching for a questionnaire completed coming in from you, and we'll take it from there with next steps. Again, thank you again, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the process.